Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Culture Captures Spotlight Podcast. I'm Joe, and today I'm being joined with MultiMarz.
Yes, sir. What's good?
Again, thank you, bro, for joining us today. Kind of blessing the listeners. You're the first photographer, videographer we've had on the show, so it's dope that we can finally introduce this in a cool way with you, Chicago style.
Hell yeah, I'm excited. I'm honestly a very big connoisseur of podcasts. It's how I really fill all my downtime. I really don't ever watch TV. I indulge in video games a little bit, and otherwise all my dead air is filled with podcasts. So I love listening, and I've done a couple, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, thanks, bro. It's gonna be dope, and for those obviously who don't get the memo, just kind of give a little bit of background about who you are and what you do now and currently.
Yeah, so my name is Marzhal. I'm MultiMarz on Instagram and anything else where I can get that username. It's usually that, and that's kind of that's how I can be found. I'm a photographer, and I've dabbled in video, and I've dabbled with directing, and opportunities have presented themselves all over the place in my life, and I've never shied away from anything. Like I said, photography is what got my foot in the door with everything I do, from fashion to I'm really involved in music industry at this point, pretty heavily, just due to connections and clientele list. And, that's kind of my bread and butter right now is music photography, following around artists, specifically Gucci Mane. I've been doing stuff with him for 5 years. Anytime he hits the road, we got a tour coming up here next month. So, it consumes a lot of my time. Pretty much all of it, honestly.
Let's start talking there with tour. We're gonna dive into a lot of the music stuff that you do, later on in the interview. But let's kind of start on a bang with tour stuff. And what does tour look like for you in terms of how hectic it can get and just the craziness of it all?
Tour looks like for me way different than your average person. In this industry, I can honestly say I haven't really even experienced tour the way a lot of people have. As far as I got enough connections where I've popped into concerts all over the place, and I know artists and I know how they move, and I've been on tour buses, and I've gone from city to city a few times, but I've never been on an actual full tour with the artist, honestly. And I'm with Gucci Mane late in his career. He's a well-established. He moves different than these artists. So tour for me is it's still hectic. It's still no sleep. It's still all of that. But I've never been on a tour bus and hit the whole country. We fly commercial everywhere we go. I rack up airline miles like it's my job, and it's a different city every day. It's a show at night. It's the earliest flight out. It's grab the rental car, get the hotel. And, I'm almost on the ground. I'm basically Gucci's personal assistant, and I assist the security team everywhere we go in terms of logistics. Everywhere we go has got to be surgical when you're with these professionals. There's no, there's not a lot of messing around. Honestly, my job is to get to a city, get an Escalade, and get to the airport when he lands, and then we head to the hotel. And I've already got all that prepared when we get there too. And I work hand in hand with our tour manager. It's a real team effort. It's more than just fun and games. When you're working with these professionals, you really got to be surgical. You don't even know where I'm at, honestly, from my social media. I don't post where I'm at until the next day. A, for security reasons, and B, I'm moving around so much that sometimes I don't even bust open Instagram for a day. And next thing you know, I was in Houston yesterday, I'm in Miami today, and nobody even knew that I took all these flights.
Right. And it's I don't know, does it bother you that you can't post? Do you have, obviously, I think you're probably at a point now where it doesn't really affect what you do and affect you, but was there ever a point in your career where it's when you first started with this stuff that would kind of occur?
Yeah. Honestly, you worded that very well, because that's honestly just how it is. Like at this point in my life, I don't care. It's not all that anymore. But you know why? Because there's a trade-off between exposure and money. And when your life is all about getting exposure, and you need people to know what you're doing, you need people to know where you're at, you need people to know you're working. Honestly, you need brands and artists to know that you're working. Nobody wants to work with someone who doesn't ever work. So that stuff is important. But then there eventually becomes a trade-off where, you know, you put in the time and you get the exposure, and then the money is going to come, and I get paid every day that I'm on the road. So I don't really worry about showing where I'm at or looking for work, because I don't need it when I'm on the road. I already got a job that day, and that's my priority. And you got to make sure your priorities are straight before you can, priorities got to be straight before the money comes in, honestly. So at that point, I'm past the point where the priorities are now money. So.
Right, and like, how did you get your start? So like, obviously you're doing all this stuff with Gucci Mane, and like you're a traveling photographer, like 5 cities in 5 days kind of guy. But like, where did you first start out, and like, how did you know you were gonna get into photography? I've
always been into fashion and sneakers, honestly, and I've always been just obsessed with culture and music and all that. I spent most of my time in college perusing Tumblr and making Facebook groups and cultivating whole Facebook groups. Honestly, it was all centered around sneakers at that time. But I was in college majoring in criminology and political science, so it had nothing to do with anything. I was going to go on to law school, but then I was honestly burnt out on school. I did track and field in college, so that consumed up most of my time anyway. So like academics was, unfortunately, kind of always like secondary to whether it was sports or hobbies for me. And straight out of college, through some connections, I got a job dealing with social media, because a guy at an investment firm that I knew via social media saw what I had going and liked it and wanted to incorporate it into his investment firm, and I worked in their marketing department. And that was the first time I picked up a camera, because having to do real estate photography, but you know, my passion was like on Tumblr, honestly, seeing photos of like cool stuff and lifestyle photography, and being like, eventually I was like, wow, you know, I can make these images. I don't have to just consume them. Like, I could be making my own content. This was pre-Instagram, so, you know, it wasn't just a no-brainer to be like, take photos of your own stuff. It was all about reblogging stuff. So when the time came that I got some professional equipment in my hand, I was like, shit, I got all the Jordans and stuff like that. Well, I should be, you know, taking pictures of my kicks in the city, and that's kind of just snowballed from there.
Yeah, and is that how you got
a better?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's how, you know, I got a better camera, and content got better, and people started to notice, and gigs started to come in that way, freelance-wise. And then I was like, well, guess I'm not going to continue on going to school if I'm getting paychecks already. I was, you know, straight out of college. It was the first time I was ever getting paid, honestly, because I really never had jobs in college. Like I said, I did sports. I didn't have time for work. That was kind of the trade-off, was, you know, do sports. And my parents were like, you don't need to hold down a college job if you're holding down college scholarships. So that's what it was.
And like, in college, you were a whole college athlete all 4 years?
All 4 years. I went to the University of Northern Iowa my freshman year, and then I transferred out of there to go to UIC, and I did track and field. So, but UIC is right here in the city, so mm-hmm. I was in Chicago ever since my sophomore year in college, and I'm from about an hour away from the city. It almost feels like cheating to call it a suburb because it's so far. It's up on the Illinois-Wisconsin border, but it's, you know, it's part of the suburbs.
Yeah, I mean, it's in Illinois too. I mean,
right.
You know, you're talking to a guy who's not from
yeah.
you know, Chicago and Illinois.
For
so
sure.
I mean, how like Boston works, it's all towns. It's like, you know, we call Boston a town. So it's just
right.
The whole suburb thing to me is like.
But shit, the size of Massachusetts, like, I think you might be able to drive across Massachusetts just to get to my town from here.
Yeah, most likely.
So
You can put half a mass in Chicago. So, but in terms of you being in college and trying to like kind of dabble like with photography at that time, like how hard was it to find the time and even like put the effort in, like on a personal level, just because it's like you're doing sports in school and like all those like in-person commitments.
Yeah, but I mean, it was really all about sneakers for me, and sports and sneakers goes kind of hand in hand. You know, I know it was track and field, but I had the coolest cleats and spikes, and it was all. But we were sponsored by Adidas, but I was a huge Nike head, and I wore Nike Flyknit runners and stuff to practice, and then I wore Jordans and stuff on the buses, and when we flew places. Like, it was a Division I program, so we got to, I got to be in the airport with your university warm ups on, and then I always focused on like what sneakers am I bringing, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And specifically, you want to know how sneakers snowballs into something like this? RSVP Gallery. I've always been going there ever since I was in college, and I've been going there since that store not first started, but I definitely remember like Air Yeezy 2s back in the day and stuff like that. So, it's always been about that. And then I started doing content for them and getting to know all the employees, and they eventually gave me a Beats by Dre gig. They subcontracted their whole Beats by Dre influencer gig. Like, RCP Gallery as an entity was an influencer for Beats by Dre, and they subcontracted it to me, and that was an open window to go shoot any concert in the city. Like, I would just hit up clubs, or they would hit up clubs for me. Honestly, the Beats by Dre influencer team would be like, Paris Club was like, Snoop Dogg's in there tonight. Can we get this photographer in to take photos of Snoop Dogg? And it was just green lighted everywhere I went. So it was kind of my start to being like rappers and stuff, honestly. And that's not, like I said, that's, even though I'm doing this, it's not by accident. That's been my favorite genre of music. I've been obsessed with Lil Wayne since I was, too young to listen to it. I'm from rural white Richmond, Illinois, and I was obsessed with Lil Wayne. I was even class president in high school, and I put the Carter 3 lyrics on the back of our senior T-shirts one year. So I was, always about it.
It's super cool. And like, in addition to RSVP, like, you've worked with numerous of the Chicago like professional sports teams, the Fire, the Bears, the White Sox. Am I missing one there? The Bulls. Yeah, I mean, you've worked with so many other like stores as well in Chicago. And like, how did you? Was it really through kind of like OG, like you could almost say like OG social media days with like Tumblr and Instagram? Is that how you were able to kind of make your way in the door with some of these places and some of these connections you built over the years?
Yeah, like definitely OG Instagram, like back when influencers was such a thing that Instagram was pushing, like pre being bought by Facebook. Like literally Instagram, like their page, their official page. I personally never got featured, but creators are getting featured like crazy, and a lot of Chicago. It would make your Instagram following go up to 100K like easy, because they have tens of millions of followers at the time. They probably got even more now. I don't know if they touch 100 million, but it was a huge way to blow up. It never happened to me, but it happened to a ton of people in Chicago and a ton of people I associated with, and it was a real community for a minute of photographers in Chicago. There's meetups all the time. There's social media haven, and I don't know if it just got a little corny or if I grew out of it or what, but I don't feel like it really exists here anymore. Like, honestly, shit got illegal too. Like, we used to be breaking into places and going up on rooftops, when you'd hang your feet off the side of skyscrapers for sneaker pics. Like, that was a whole movement for a minute, and I had sneakers and was down to get on these rooftops. So it led to like growth and notice in the city, and it was a way to talk to these stores, honestly, because it wasn't so widespread like how it all is now. Like, I don't know, good luck finding someone who doesn't know what a Yeezy is right now. Like, given the Adidas success and the shoes are so readily available. But for a minute, like, it wasn't such a thing. Like, I used to go to a sneaker con, and like, I feel like how many years ago, 5, 6+ years ago, that I don't know if that was just like crazy. Like, you were going to a convention for sneakers.
Yeah.
Like, people didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, I was a shoe head too, bro. And like growing up, like, I was like reselling shoes in Facebook groups at like 12, 13, 14, like watching all the Nice Kicks videos and like the same. I never went to those like early sneaker cons. I've actually never been to a sneaker con, unfortunately, but like it's kind of dead now. I think like that's the sneaker culture also that like was so rich in like 2012 to 15. It was so different, and I think nowadays it's like it's the mainstream, like sneakers have kind of swallowed up sneaker culture because it was like so big and so hot. Like everyone kind of wanted a piece of it, you know. Everyone from the consumers to the sellers, and like it's just
the monetary incentive. Everyone is like, oh wait. So it's not just about sneakers. It's also about you can get some money. And I think people who weren't in it for sneakers hopped on board, and it's just a domino effect of what it is now.
I mean, you see brand, like, not like, I don't mean this in any way of taking shots at brands, of course, but it's like you see brands releasing shoes, like retros every week. Like, when did that didn't happen 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, like they didn't make random colorways 10 years ago, you know, and like that's like, that shows you right there of just like there's a huge demand for the sneaker market, and it's a huge game now that like I think it's just so big that like people faded out of it, and like, you know, that I think in turn
it got annoying for real collectors too. Like it's annoying for me. Luckily, I have a fucking fat collection that I'm sitting on forever, and I got, like you said, shoes are coming back out all the time. Well, I already got them from when they last came out, so I get to chill. But like, yo, ask me if I won a sneakers raffle ever in my life. Not freaking once.
Yeah. No.
So you know, it gets annoying, honestly. Like, I can't get what I want anymore because all these people are gonna flip them real quick, and I just got some. I don't, you know what. I don't know. And I'm into. If you know anything about fashion too, like, shit, why would there's $800 shoes out there. Why would I pay $800 for a $200 shoe? Like,
right.
When a Travis Scott Jordan costs $800, I'm like, yo, that's a $200 shoe though. And Nike invested way less than that, and now I'm gonna invest this into that. Like, I'll buy a pair of Louis Vuitton sneakers. Fuck waiting in line.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I totally get it. And it's just like, it's crazy to see how like even saturated collabs have become too. Like, I feel like you just see the same collabs too from the big brands. It's like, yo, there's so many other creative minds that they could utilize that they just don't.
Right. It's like, what can we slap a colorway on it? I mean, give it to them, Travis Scott and Virgil. Like, they mix up they are the same collaborators over and over again, but they mix up their designs. Whereas, like, I mean, I'm not trying to throw shots here, but I don't got any of the shoes. But like Clot just did a Sakai. Well, it's the same exact color as their Air Max. It's like they just, or like DJ Clark Kent, just does the same colorway on a bunch of stuff, and that's cool to create a collection. But like, eventually it's got to stop. And with DJ Clark Kent, you see it did. He didn't, they're on to whoever the next hottest collaborator is. But like, the just recycling of colorways is like, I see through the scam personally. So
right. And it's like when you trace like the OG Jordans back, right? Like, we're talking about the retro series, like even that dies out at a certain point too. Like when it died out at like you call it the OGs, like at the 15, 14 kind of cutoff, like
right.
It all like there's so it's like it's just kind of history does repeat itself. And like, again, like when you're talking about how sports and everything kind of like crosses and correlates, like it's totally true, because like I was a huge sport head growing up, and like that's what everyone kind of pegged me to do too, was like to do sports interviews. But I like really liked this stuff instead, and like really wanted to kind of do the music thing, and like music goes hand in hand with it too. It's like, what are you doing before a game, or what are you doing in the car on the way to go to the get the shoes. Like, you got music on, you know what I mean? Like, or like
Right.
artists are working on the shoes, or they're wearing them in their videos or their cool photo shoots or whatever. So
Right,
it's like that correlation is all there. And like, you know, even with the photos and stuff, it's like, you know, back in the day, like when, again, like with shoes, when the original stuff, it's like that stuff was all done by like kind of really well designed and like high thought out and creative photo shoots, you know? And it's like, they didn't have social media to like, and other pages to like replicate it and put it out there 20 times over. Like, they had one chance to kind of like get everyone's attention with photos. So it's like everything all ties together. And I think that's like, it's cool that you brought that up early on in this. And like, to keep talking about like the sneaker stuff a little bit more, what is something that like people listening might not kind of like understand is really difficult about shooting for a store, or like doing product, like just shoe shooting and stuff?
You know, honestly, something I even am of, I guess, a victim or a culprit of, and I don't. This goes for beyond shoes too. This goes for more, you know, subject photography. So like a shoe, a person, an outfit, or something like that.
Yep.
So like, used to be, like I said, there used to be like a shock value to a photo, and that equaled followers and all that. Like I said, you know, rooftop, legs hanging over, sneakers. Like, I don't really dig that vibe anymore. Honestly, I dig focusing on your subject. I dig, you know, the minimalist aspect. Like, I really try to not give my photos like a geological location. Like, I really like it to seem like it could be anywhere. And that's, I think, one of the harder things to do with street, if you're gonna, you know, because there's a reality to, you know, everything costs money. Like, you want your photo shoots to come out best, then you better invest in a space, get on Peer Space, rent something out, and come up with a good location. I just think that works. It makes your photos more timeless for your own life, looking at your own timeline. Otherwise everything's got a Chicago skyline in the background of it, and you move on from Chicago, but you can't, your content doesn't. So I think there's a lot of value in, you know, the space around your photo beyond the subject. Like, subject comes first. Make sure, you know, there's technical rules to everything when shooting, but beyond that, I like to look beyond and at the photo, and does it live on, you know, beyond this moment in time.
Yeah, that's hard, man. And like, to kind of transition into the music industry stuff and how you got your foot in the door there, you kind of were saying it was through the sneaker stores and just being able to meet people?
Yeah, 100%. Through these stores and meeting people, and it's just a snowball effect of meeting creatives. And then the boss that I had at this real estate job, he was a real facilitator in my life and in the Chicago scene at the time, and he introduced me straight up to Rocky Fresh. You know, me and Rocky are the same age, and I was popping off with photography, and he was at a time when his you know, he needed a spotlight on what he was up to, and I was there to offer my services, and we became really tight homies. And I went, you know, yeah, I got all these gigs in Chicago, right? I had an open pass to go shoot something. You don't meet an artist doing that, though. You ain't gonna get in an artist's ear when they're hosting at a club. You ain't gonna chop it up. So that, you know, that got me content, but that didn't give me relationships like the way of when I was moving around with Rocky and everywhere we would go. You know, I'm in these trailers with him. I'm in green rooms with him, and it was a crazy way to meet people. Like, we're hanging out with Rick Ross like 3 times a month, and Rick Ross has got me on a first name basis because he sees us all the time. So, you know, I really lucked out with the people I knew and people I got to move around with.
Yeah, and Rocky, like, just knowing him from a little bit of personal experience, is a good dude, and like in terms of Chicago, like he's gonna hold you down.
Right,
And like
right.
just in music, you know, with music industry stuff, like that dude's got really, really dope stories and experiences.
Right.
And like
He's been doing it. He's been doing it for a long time here in Chicago. He's the OG to a lot of this new wave, and he's really never wronged anyone. So he's, you know, the bridges aren't burned. That's the big thing in the music industry. These artists are sensitive and burn bridges, and like you got to watch who you want to. You can't just go up to artists and be like, I'm homies with blah, blah, blah. You know, like, I'm with Tory Lanez, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you don't know these artists don't fuck with each other. You're about to say, I know this person from this person. You're going to be like, well, I think that person's a fucking goofy. Why are they? So you got to watch yourself. But, you know, a guy like Rocky is established OG in Chicago. And like I said, he's a good guy. He's never, like, wronged anyone. The bridges aren't burned. So, you know, he's a solid one to rely on through my journey.
And like with your journey, how did it get to Gucci Mane, and like how did that first day go with like you meeting him and you kind of like going into what you do now?
Yeah, well, let's rewind. And how did I even get to Gucci Mane? Back to Rocky. We were at a Rick Ross music video, and the guy who wrote Gucci's autobiography, like the ghostwriter, you know, co-author to the book. He wrote Gucci Mane's book. He's in the trailer pitching Ross that he wants to write his book, which is, you know, years later. That shit came out like last year, and they're on their third book. Now I owe that guy a lot. His name is Neil Martinez Belkin, and he's wrote these books. So I met him with Rocky, Rick Ross music video, blah, blah, blah. That happens. Months later, I don't even know how many months later, it might even be a year later, Gucci tweets, who wants to be the first 1017 photographer, hit my email, and he tweeted out an email. He's got 10 million Twitter followers, so that email address exploded, I'm sure, and you know, I got like a response delivery saying like failed to deliver, inbox full. So I hit the author and was like, yo, Gucci just said he's looking for a photographer. Like, can you send my stuff to his manager? And he did. Straight up. He's like, hell yeah. Let me send your shit to the manager. And, you know, that's how the story starts. And I actually wasn't even the first option. There was another photographer who the label put with him, and didn't work out, whether it was scheduling or, you know, who knows, you know, like I said, artists they have a particular, plus it's their image. Like, if they don't like the way that their image is being portrayed, you're out of a job that quick, like on to the next one. So I came in, and I've been working with Gucci ever since. And that was April of 2017.
And like, yeah, since obviously you've been hand in hand with him, assuming with the label that he's doing 1017 and working with Pooh and all those artists and Big 30.
He had a prior label to that too. And you know, he's reinvented 1017 a few times. But,
yeah, right.
You know, every time I'm working with the boss every time, so it's like a quick, open relationship with these artists that he works with. So, you know, Young Mal, Hoodrich, Pablo Juan, Asian Doll, like I've moved around with all those artists because of Gucci. And then as of his latest thing, you know, Pooh Shiesty, Fujiano, and all his newer artists, Big Scar, Big Walk Dog, Enchanting, and Hot Boy West. Like, I get to work with them all. I was moving around with Pooh for a little bit, though. I mean, I fucking love Pooh Shiesty. I love his music, love everything. Trying to get his situation back on track.
Can you provide an update on his situation, or is that something you can't do?
I mean, there's really nothing to say that's not on the internet. It's all just on ice until the hearing, you know. Mm-hmm. He's, you know, he got in a little trouble while being out on bond in the same county that he was already out on bond, so he's just all revoked until this trial. So, but nothing's happened with the trial. They're being strategic. They gotta let, you know, stuff cool down. They gotta let media cool down, and then they're gonna take it to trial and try to get everything situated. But, you know, otherwise right now it's it's all out there on the internet because nothing's happened yet, you know. So.
And we can leave it at that. I don't want to bring up stuff that, you know, that's already like been said about that situation. And
right, for sure.
And in terms of like working just with the label in general, and like you've seen other, like what's it been like to see a label go through revamps and see an artist really put out a homegrown like label time and time again, and how different people get it put on?
I mean, it's really cool to see these artists come from, you know, where they come from and then become, you know, big, you know, make all their dreams come true, get tons of money and become successful in the music industry. Like seeing Pooh Shiesty, you know, at age 19, you know, him and all his homies, like just to see him glow up it's just so fucking cool. It's so cool to see someone glow up, honestly, for lack of a better term, but it's just a cool experience to be like, you feel like emotionally invested. Like I'm emotionally invested in these success of these artists. Like I was showing people Back in Blood from the first moment I heard that shit. I was like, this song is going to be fucking huge, bro.
Yeah.
This song is going to be nuts. And then it did.
Well, and just with Back in Blood for a second too, because I know some of the No More Heroes people on the like half the side of that with Dirk. So it's just like, you know, that song just had a ton of people behind it too. And like, what was it like to see, like, you know, instantly hearing that, knowing it was going to be huge, and like it's still like I still hear that song today. You know, like I still hear people bumping it. You know.
I mean, I don't know if everything happens for a reason. I don't know if there's such thing as destiny. I don't know if there's such thing as fate. Don't let a good catastrophe go to waste, all the crazy sayings, but that song was destined for what it became. You know, I credit that song hugely to, you know, Dirk's the biggest, hottest thing out right now, and you know, he's got his own stuff. Well, he was featured on Pooh Shiesty's song, and I think that should skyrocket him to people to like relook at his catalog. But like I was saying, everything happened for a reason, destiny, all that. So when did Dirk debut Back in Blood? Lil Durk debuts Back in Blood on his Instagram Live while King Von gets shot and killed. Like that shit happened. That's real. That's not made up. Dirk is playing that shit in the car on live, and people are saying Von got shot. So boom, automatically screen recorded the biggest clip. Lil Durk reacting to King Von getting killed, but what's playing in the fucking car the whole time? Back in Blood. So, you know, it's tragic as it gets. It's horrible. You know, I fucking love King Von's music, and you know, I'm from Chicago. That's the guy. Yo, his death is the best marketing that song could ever fucking got.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know all that, because I know the clip. That clip was pretty viral, and like, you know, it would make the majority of the posts for CC.
He was playing Back in Blood.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I didn't know that. And it's like, in terms of just being with Gucci too, to bring it back to him for a second, like, what have been some just lessons you've kind of naturally picked up, moving at the speed he moves at, and just being around the clientele that, you know, he blesses you to be around with, you know, like, what are just some things you've picked up on?
Fucking do your job. Everybody do your job first and foremost. You want to be friends, you want to kick it, you want to be cool. Well, make sure your job is done. You know, that's the thing about, you know, social media made photographers cool. Photography was not always cool. Photography was a nerdy, like, lame thing. And then social media made it cool to be a photographer and get followers and all this stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't know, I think there's a huge chunk of people that are doing it because it's cool, not because they want to do it. And those kind of people are trying to be places because they're cool places to be, and they're trying to take photos. I know people who want to do this shit and they don't listen to rap music. It's like, well, I don't really understand. People got to ask. I've had people in the pit be like, "Who is this?" Be like, "What?"
Yeah,
then don't be taking photographs. Like, I don't point my camera at people that I don't know who they are. And a lot of times I'm kicking myself in the ass because they're you know, young little hot artists that are famous, but like, I'm not paparazzi. That's not what I'm trying to be. I'm not trying to be paparazzi. I'm on a mission to create art and capture moments, and whatever my job is, that's priority numero uno. And I just feel like a lot of people try to do it to be cool and get it for the social media, get it for your story, get the selfie. It's like, that's not your job. That's across the, I mean, like I said, I can relate to photographers, and I personally just, I've seen it so much, but it's kind of across the board, whether, that goes for bodyguards, that goes for, the bodyguards that move around with these guys, they're all on point and they look like badasses and they're doing their jobs. You know who's not doing their jobs? The security guys in the audience and in the pit. It's like, because they're dancing and taking selfies. It's like, don't you see that there's levels to this? Like, there's a reason why you're a doorman and not a personal bodyguard, because look at you being a goofy and look at how these bodyguards are doing. There's a reason why you're got to sneak into shows with your camera and you don't get to work with artists, because you're out here being paparazzi, and they don't want, that's not what they're looking for. They're trying to look, you got to play it cool. And I pride myself, this is going to sound corny and cocky, but like, I pride myself on being cool. Like, I really think I play it cool. I'm really good at being cool. And I don't even mean just like the way you act. I mean, presenting yourself. Like, you just got to be cool. Like, you can't come incorrect, because people read that shit wrong. And whether it was your intentions or not, it's like, man, if you would have just played it cool, you'd live on in to see another day.
Yeah, you got to be patient too. Is right, the hand in hand of it too. It's like, bro, you can't like.
You got to be patient. You got to stay down until you come up.
Because if you scold someone out, like, or you like you crack the egg the wrong way, goodbye, bro. You know what I mean? And like, they can tell people, they have friends in the industry. You know what I mean? That also have friends. It's like everyone's all connected, somehow. And it's one of those things where it's like understanding the levels to it too, of just like, you have to be patient with these people, and like, because they're so busy and like their lives, they're demanding lives that they live. So.
They're also on drugs. You want to be straight up.
Yeah, right.
A lot of these artists, a lot of them are on drugs. So like, think about that. You're messing with someone's high. People are easily agitated.
Yeah, and I mean, you drink, right? I'm assuming you be drinking.
I do drink. I got nothing against it. Yeah. I know kind of when the occasions hit, I'm grabbing drinks with friends, but I'm personally not a big drinker. I'm about to be 30 this week, actually, and I'm about a point in my age or in my life where I'm like, I don't need to do shit I don't like, and I just don't like the taste of alcohol, so I don't do it often. But I got vices. I smoke a lot of weed, so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you be burning it all, or what? Like, what do you do there?
Sir.
Yeah, that's so. Like, I mean, weed's nice, and like, I don't know. I smoke too, and like, I don't really have the temptation to do like other drugs personally. It's something that doesn't really interest me. I can goof around and say it with my friends, like privately, but like, I don't. I'm not ever gonna be on that like vibe. How do you like being up in front of it, and being around it, I assume pretty frequently with your job? Is it pretty easy to just kind of like keep that out of your mind, and just kind of like you were saying a few minutes ago, just being focused on the tasks at hand?
Yeah, right. Like, step one, do your job. And even me personally, everyone's different. If you can handle alcohol and you can do that, more power to you. But like I said, do your job. My job, I got a lot of jobs. I got a lot of wild card situations that happen. Shit goes down. Someone needs to drive the whip, blah, blah. I can't be, I just took 5 shots in the club. Like, how am I going to drive the Escalade back? It's like, no, that shouldn't happen. I'm a fucking pot smoker. I can handle shit when I'm high like that, and it's not a problem. So, I don't ever let it affect, I don't let it affect my tasks at hand, honestly. So I don't see a problem doing it. But yeah, like, if you never know what the fuck's going to happen. Shots get fired on the music video and you got to run to a car, and whoever's supposed to the driver seat got to drive. I can't be like, I've been drinking in the trailer all day. Like, you couldn't fly.
Yeah, right.
That's how you lose your job.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, I mean, the theme here seems to be that you're pretty adamant about doing your job, and I'm assuming that's how you said earlier that you're kind of Gucci Mane's personal assistant when you're with him and you're on the road with him. What are some day-to-day responsibilities that you would say that come with that? And how did that even happen?
Well, so first, how did it happen? He's this goes for like most rappers, and because their past lives and what they used to do. And I mean, I'm not spoiling any surprises here. Gucci Mane used to sell drugs. He used to be in the streets. He used to be a trapper. So these guys are there's like a just PTSD, and fucking they've seen some shit. They got trust issues. There's a loyalty aspect to these guys, and I put the time in, and it came with time. That wasn't no right away shit. I can tell you the story about the first day. The first day I was in the whip with him, picked up from the airport in New York City and headed downtown, and was in the back of the truck, and that was the first day I met him, and he was like, "Yo, don't let someone I don't know sit in the back of the truck with me." And I rode with the tour manager and the DJ from that point on. We everywhere we go, this is still how it is, just because, tour manager and DJ, they got sound check and pull up places early, and I used to go everywhere with them in a separate vehicle. And then, as time went on, he needs a guy he don't, like I said, trust issues and loyalty, and plus, paparazzi and all that shit. Like, when he's in a hotel, he don't want room service coming to his room and all that stuff. So I field anyone and everyone. I'm like the barrier between him and strangers, really. So if anyone needs to do anything with him, come to me first. And that's, that, like I said, that was a slow roll of years of being with him to being like, that's my guy that I can trust. So it just slowly came with time. And it really is just like your mundane tasks that you can think of, but as a person who's got safety as priority number one, and millions of dollars of jewelry on him when he's out and about, like, you got to put a shield between you and strangers. So I'm that shield, whether it's like going to grab something for an errand, or going to the club and getting the back end of the paycheck. I'm there for whatever task he needs me for, because that's my job on the road. It's more than a photographer. I get paid to be on the road with him,
Yeah. And it's like, I don't think people, like, there's some people listening that probably understand on the road and get it, but there's some that don't. And I think you'd be a good guy to kind of explain, like, what that is really like. And you were saying at the top, like, it's not, your experience may not be the typical, but in terms of the highest level, like, yeah, I mean, you're seeing that, a lot of the, most famous people, like, you're living that. So it's like, how do you survey that situation in your role, essentially? And like, what are the, like, key components you got to kind of be doing? Like I said, it's really just make yourself available for anything and everything. And what on the road means is like, so I got a wicked schedule, right? It looks crazy on the calendar, but when you do the math, it's not that crazy. Like, I'm here talking to you right now. It's fucking Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I got back in town on Monday. So like, when you're on the road, that's a 24-hour workday. Anytime and every time he wants to call me and do something, we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So it looks like I work 2 days a week, right? I worked 40 hours in those 2 days of the week. So even though I only worked, like I said, I put in a 40-hour week, even though I was only gone for 3 days. And then I'm here in Chicago chilling and freelancing and taking care of life on my days off. And it's like, it's honestly the opposite of, everyone else's schedule. Like, everyone in my life wants to hang out on weekdays or weekends. And I'm like, nah, I'm gone, but I'll be back on Monday if you want to do some shit. And I'm chilling Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday I'm, probably had to do airport again. So it's just a weird schedule. But like I said, on the road means, working it could be 24 hours a day. Because when I first met you, and you just probably no way you remember this because it was a while ago. But when I did first meet you, I remember just kind of like, I brought that up to you just out of curiosity. And you hit me with the line of, yeah, honestly, I wake up and the first thing I do is I check my Apple Wallet to see if I have a ticket wired into it. And you know, that's the only time I've ever gotten that response from anyone. I didn't know people could wire them into Apple Wallets.
So real talk, I have a Google Calendar that I do have to, you know, refresh it every day or so and make sure nothing new popped in. But I got a Google Calendar that just gets updated, and then I'll know. It's not like a complete surprise, but like the Google Calendar says Atlanta this weekend. Well, I'm gonna go into my American app and then refresh it on Wednesday and see if a ticket popped in for Friday, and that's how it is. But like I have a travel agent and stuff that I communicate with, and I have all these people that I could text and reach. But like I said, I've been doing this for so many years now, and this team's the same, and you know, it's a whole lot of nonverbal communication going on with everyone just knows their job. So like I said, I just refresh the shit and it's there. I could, you know, sometimes I get paranoid when I don't see it, and then I'm going to call the travel agent and be like, what's happening this weekend? And she'll let me know. But, you know, like I said, I got my job for a reason. I'm good at staying on point.
What are some, could you possibly share some of your favorite kind of like studio session memories you've had over the last few years, and like some cool maybe stories from that? Man, I'm in the studio so much.
Right. Like that's another awesome perk to kind of being the assistant that it's beyond the photography, right? So yeah. Gucci lives in Miami, so he's got to hit the studio for something. He brings me down to be in the studio with him for, you know, just assistance on anything he needs. But it wasn't always that way, because he don't want photos when he's in the studio. He's the type of guy he is. He don't really show behind the scenes sort of lifestyle. When he's in the studio, he's showing on his own personal vibe. He's not all dressed up, and you know, the chains aren't out, so I don't even bust the camera out. I'm just there to be there. So I get to be in the studio a lot with him. I've seen quite a few. I've seen quite a few people in there with him, but shit's always lit when it's in Atlanta, because that's where all the artists are. And over the past few years, Super Bowl's been in Atlanta, All-Star Game been in Atlanta, just all in the like last 3 years. So, I mean, those times stick on my head because it's All-Star weekend, Super Bowl weekend, everyone's there, no one's out of town. So the studio is just, Lil Baby showed up, Gunna showed up, they did a song together, Dolph was already there with us. You know, everyone comes out. They all go to club. They all go to each other's appearances too. Like, you'll hit the club, and then what do you do after the club? You go to the studio. So Atlanta's always lit. Always the stereotypical artists that you can think of. You know, pulling up on QC, and the Migos are there and shit like that. Like that's just Atlanta back. You know, not three years ago. Beyond. You know, that's how it was. Because all these artists, like shit, I've been seeing Lil Baby and Gunna since before their first tape together. So to see them become the biggest artists in the world is like just crazy shit.
Yeah, and it's like we talked about it earlier with the label, and it's like there's probably so many more artists, like if you really stack it up, that you've seen come out of their situations and are just like mainstream to the nines now. You know, I can't even really. There's just so many, you know. If you started in 2017, like there's a good dozen or two that I could imagine. And moving from like all the different cities that you're in, I mean, Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, New York, I'm assuming time to time in LA. Like, what are some of the favorite places you like to be working in, and what are like the advantages that you have in those places, if that makes sense? Like, what makes those places stand out extra more, like a little more?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fact of life. It's all about who you know, right? Like, to get anything, it's all about who you know. So my favorite places are biased because of the people I know, I want to say. Straight up, and it's crazy to say this because, like, New York's amazing, LA's amazing, California in the whole is amazing. Just everyone wants to always be in warm, tropical places, right? Miami's sick. Man, I love going to Atlanta. That's where... It's like where there's just always stuff going on. There's always something happening. There's always something to do. It's where all these artists live. So they're all there in their own element, their own vehicles, shit like that. Like, you know, when you're on the road, all you do is see rappers in black Suburbans.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in Atlanta, you see rappers in Lamborghinis and McLarens and Rolls Royces and shit because they're at their home. So Atlanta's always dope. It's literally like, I always say, it feels like you're in a rap music video, or it could just pop off at any time. Like, you could be you could literally be at an intersection and some Hellcat Dodge Chargers might start just ripping burnouts in the middle of the intersection. That's just like some regular shit that goes on in Atlanta. Like that shit does not go on here in Chicago. Maybe I'm secluded to Wicker Park and Bucktown. I mean, fuck, I've been here since 2010, like literally living in the city alone since 2010. And I have not experienced the type of shit that I see in Atlanta. I'm not that close-minded either. You know, I've been to all the blocks in Chicago because of what I do. But Atlanta's just different when it comes to the music industry stuff. It's like those guys are, you know, they're really outside. It's like, I don't know. It's like I said, it's like being in a music video, but for real. But then, my next phase, like I'm giving you these two answers because it's what I always say where I should live. And my answer is I should live in Atlanta or I should go live in LA because that's the next place where everything's going on. Got a homie out there who's been a homie, honestly, based off the sneaker shit too since day one. He's my homie. His name's Blake Pals. He's been my homie in Chicago here, and he's one of like the early employees at Fear of God. And I whenever I'm out there, I pull up on him. I stay with him, and ever since he's been staying out there, and now he's been working with Jerry Lorenzo more years than I've been working with Gucci Mane, and he's like my foot in the door to like whenever there's cool events and shit out there. If I'm ever in LA, it's like I get to pull up to this dope ass shit that's going on because it's all about you know. So
what were some events?
Go
ahead, bro. My fault.
No, I was just going to say, wherever you got a good web of connections, you know, it's always a good place to be.
Yeah, right. I feel you. And, like, where are some things, like, in events that you got to go to this year that weren't based on, like, you know, working for an artist? It was kind of more or less just, like, you know, you were invited by connection-based.
I mean, whenever there's stuff going in Chicago, I feel like it's been going on less and less. You know, I guess, but that's kind of a product of society and everything that went on over 2020 and whatnot. But, you know, galleries and stuff, like I've never even posted my own gallery. It's such a weird gray area when your photography is all based around other artists. So, you know, you're liable to get sued for selling the images. So I've never pursued hosting my own shit. But, you know, I got to be a part of a gallery this last year. It was for Easy Otapora. He's an OG at RCP Gallery and, you know, creative team with Travis Scott. And he owns a gallery down here in the West Loop area. And that was pretty dope. You know, it changes out all the time. So just little stuff like that. But I can't lie, I don't really chase that stuff as much because when the big I get to go to the big shit with Gucci, like all big award shows, BET awards, and I mean, fuck, I went to the Grammys the freaking day that Kobe died. Whenever the hell that was a wild day.
What was that environment like? Because it's like you're around
it was
hundreds
like being at
of people that knew
memorial.
him. Yeah, and like
right.
People that are like. You're around other people's idols who idolize Kobe. You know what I mean?
It was at the Staples Center.
Yeah.
The Grammys were at the Staples Center.
His house.
So fucking the Grammys are going on the red carpet, and then across the street is the giant billboards outside of the Staples Center of R.I.P. Kobe. It happened that freaking morning. I was like, is this shit real? I feel like I'm in a simulation.
That's nuts.
What the fuck? I'm from a town of 1,100 people, bro.
Yeah, right. And it's like, you know, it's pretty. I think it's kind of clear how you got out of. I don't want to say got out, but like, you know, paved this way for yourself. It's like you understand what your job is each and every time when you show up, and it's like that's just a really important message for the people listening. Is like, you know, and you're at events, and like when you go to events, and you know, that's part of the job, you know, like popping out is like a part of it, you know, and like going to different things is like, that's how you can pave your way, and like, you know, it leads to stuff, you know.
Right. Like if you really do got to pop out. Like that should be a part of your job. Like for anyone who's not working, like I'm not, you know, anyone who's not working, you should be popping out. End of story. Like if you're not getting money, pop out till you get money. It's all about being seen in this industry. It's all about. That's a big thing about me too. Like I said, people think I'm busy as fuck, which I am to a degree. I am busy as fuck. I'm booked as fuck, but
you're tired. Make sure you put that in there.
I'm fucking tired, bro. For real. I don't want to do shit sometimes, so I gotta just fucking chill. But you know, that's half the battle too. Is look busy, make it. And this isn't even for capping. You know, this isn't for showing out. This is for getting money. Like this is for brands. This ain't for your homies. You got to look busy for brands. You think Nike Chicago wants to hire someone who's never doing shit? It's like, no, you got to be fake it till you make it to a certain degree. Like, you know, there's a certain time when you do got to post brands that you're not even getting paid for, and you're doing it because you bought the product and it looks cool on your shit, and you want to create the content, and all it is a loss of money across the board. But maybe Nike Chicago IG page liked that picture and followed you back, and now your foot is in the door to get an email address, and then you can get that email address and maybe parlay that into some money. You know, you gotta look long term with this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, this industry, like the industry, I feel like the entertainment industry on a whole is long term. I mean, there's other ones that like we both don't do, like acting. That's like so long term, you know. Like it really is. Like it's a long game, and like if you're not in it for that long game, then like get out, because there's, you know, that's how you kind of survive day in, day out. I would definitely want to shine some light onto like what you do when you have downtime. Obviously, like on the top, when I called you, you were walking the dogs. Yeah, I think you got an Instagram page for the dogs, right?
I do got an Instagram page for the dogs, so I can just post my bullshit. That's what I'm doing most of the time. It's also what I love the most. These two dogs make up my. These dogs bring me a lot of happiness. Can't lie. And my one dog is a great, exceptionally crazy good dog. I know everyone says that, but I promise you, everyone that ever met this dog says that about her. She's crazy well trained. You know, she's just amazingly well trained off the leash. Does anything I want. Can almost read your mind. But she had terrible health problems her whole life. Which cost a fucking lot of money.
Yeah.
Going to the vets all the time, switching vets all the time, switching foods all the time. She got surgeries, all this shit. So that's why I stuck to one dog, because it was a financial burden. And then eventually, as of pushing about a year now, a new vet somewhere diagnosed this problem that was her thyroid the whole time. Which now we're getting fucking, this is becoming a dog medical podcast, but let's just say that she's perfectly healthy now. The financial burden is chilled out, and she's 7 years old. So I decided to get a second dog because I've always wanted just more dogs, and she's at a good age for it. And like I said, she's so well trained. So like that just makes your job half as easy with a puppy. Like he already sits, stays, and lays down because he sees her do it. Like it's like monkey see, monkey do with dog training. So I'm looking out that way. But yeah, full-time job here in the city. I'm a frequenter of every Wicker Park, dog park there is. I'm there often.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's good though, man, because it's like, again, like with this stuff, no matter kind of where you're at, if you're the artist, if you're the guy capturing what the artist does and helping to create the image, like you need your downtime and you need your own, you need your own thing, and like,
and you need healthy habits too, and the dogs push me to do what. They got to go outside. They're high energy. They want to go outside. They got to go to dog parks. So I walk miles and miles with these dogs every day. When if I didn't, I mean, of course, I'm a past athlete and like to think that I would do that, but I've caught myself in life not a lot. So the dogs get me up and off my ass. Otherwise, I'd be fucking playing video games all day long, you know, instead of, but now I can't because, you know, I got to pick, if I'm going to play more video games, then my dogs are going to piss in the house. So I got to get out of the house.
Yeah, right. And yeah, it's good that you recognize the basic care that goes into it. And like,
Right.
Are you a PS5 guy? I mean, what do you kind of?
PS5.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we playing?
Yeah.
What are we playing over there?
A whole lot of GTA.
Okay.
I go through mad phases. Honestly, I wasn't even that into video games in life. I'm into technology, I would say more.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big quarantine purchase when they took my movie theater privileges away. I went and bought a monstrous TV because I love watching movies. And then the PS5 came soon after, and I was like, oh, I got this fucking state-of-the-art 8K TV. Like, I'm not going to not get a PS5 to flex on how sick this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly been, I'm not going to say a problem, but like, shit, maybe I didn't need the PS5. But,
yeah.
you know, I just spend a lot of downtime on the PS5 when I'm in the crib chilling. But, that, you know, I think that's just our generation, too. It's like, I don't watch TV. I don't consume. I'm not sitting down watching seasons of a TV show. I play some GTA.
I watch
used to be Fortnite.
movies,
Used to be COD.
and I'll watch a classic TV show, but I won't watch movies, and like that's all I'll do. If it's a classic TV show, like that's all I'll do, and I'll like won't play video games. And like I really don't play that many video games. I only really play 2K. Like I'm addicted to 2K.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
I try to get, you know, my little brother, he actually lives with me, and he's got his system in his room and everything, so we can play. Mm-hmm. He's a big 2K guy, but I just can't. What the hell do you have to do in 2K to get your player freaking good? Like, do you just really got to put in the time?
Yeah. So my career is like, and I don't play my career anymore. Like, I just really only play with my homies, like to get a break in. Honestly, like I don't play like I
you play
used
in the park,
to.
right?
Huh?
You play in the park?
Yeah.
You play in the park?
Yeah, I dabble with the park. But like I played
my
OG
thing is,
2K.
like, my player sucks.
Yeah, bro. It's really that put in the time thing. Like year in, year out, that's the constant theme. Is like if you're not trying to like just throw in guap to like get the coins to like upgrade them off the base, like you gotta put that time in. Like
I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that. I'll pay some real money to get my player to be able to dunk a goddamn dance while he won't dunk.
Yeah, like you used to be able to, like when I was a kid, like playing my career, like, you know, hours on end, like you could just throw money in to like kind of like off ride that like 70s overall phase, and then like you grind them up from the 80s to the 90s, you know what I mean? And it's like it was way easier, but I think maybe they blocked it. Like I don't know, like I even though I'm like younger than you might think I played a lot of video games, but like it never was really like, I don't know, it was never like something I was like overly drawn to, you know what I mean? Like I've dabbled with CODs and like I really only liked the OG ones, and like I think GTA is a game like. Go ahead.
Yeah, same story here. I was always just dabbling, but honestly, Fortnite changed the game for me.
Oh
like, first, I was literally Fortnite. Like I still never really been a COD guy. I honestly deleted it off my system because it's 500 gigs for it's like 250 gigs each game, and I was like, I can't now. I have a PS5 with only one game on it, so I literally deleted COD because. You know, I'm just not about that life like that. But Fortnite really, changed the game for me. But that was a phase, you know.
It's funny you bring up Fortnite too.
That being said, I just logged in yesterday to buy the Balenciaga outfit that they dropped on there.
I was going to ask you about that because, like, you're into fashion too. So it's like, what do you think about the whole, like, you know, games being like Fortnite doing that? Isn't that kind of wild?
That is kind of wild, and I have a separate thought here I want to say, which is, like I said, I don't really play Fortnite anymore, but I did log in to buy the Balenciaga outfit. I did log in to buy the Space Jam LeBron outfit because with the whole hype of NFTs and all that going on and buying, everyone's so obsessed with buying stuff digitally nowadays, like, think about, I mean, this goes for COD, this goes for GTA with the vehicles. Think about you can put real money in, buy their tokens, use the tokens to buy these things, and now I own this LeBron skin, and that shit ain't coming back, and they ain't re-releasing Space Jam or anything like that, so it's done and gone. So, like, if Fortnite lives on 10 more years and is a thing, is my account going to be worth some like real money because I could sell it? Because like, yo, I got the Balenciaga, I got the LeBron, I got the Spider-Man. That shit was 10 years ago. It's like, it's low key like how Pokemon cards are back right now for crazy money. It's like, can I maybe sell my Epic account in 10 years for fucking like 10 grand?
Like I know kids that did that in high school, dog, and made like licks. Like they made like just stupid amount of money because they bring back 3 times what they put in.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah, bro, 100%. With Fortnite, like when Fortnite was crazy in like 2017, 2018, like dog, people were running around my high school scamming people online for that shit because it was so easy to, like, you could just get the skins and like find a way to hack the skins because it was so new too. Like it was, Epic Games was like pretty new to the video game world and everything with this, and Fortnite was all, you know, brand new and shit. But yeah, Fortnite was the one that kind of got me. Like it got everyone. I mean, 2018, like 2017, like if you weren't playing Fortnite, bro, you were missing out. And like PUBG was even another one that like that was the one I want. Like that some people wanted to play but didn't, and then the ones that did played it, when it got mainstream, it ruined. It got ruined. So it was like, damn, all right, there's no point. So then Fortnite just took over, and it was.
And then COD put in there Warzone instead of PUBG.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like with CODs, it's like, I don't know. I liked the OG ones, and I just simply to keep it simple. Like the new ones are so like they're too far derived away from the originals, so I just don't fucking care about them. Like I just don't.
I feel you.
And it's like, I don't know, with the like you make a good point about that, like with the account still though, and like yeah, you own it. You know what I mean? Like yeah, you put the money in to buy the Balenciaga Fortnite shit, so okay, you own it. Yeah, it might be on Fortnite, but like you still own Balenciaga Fortnite stuff. What are some of your favorite, like, you know, you're a huge shoe guy. I love shoes. We could talk a whole nother hour about shoes. What are some of your favorite like models that are in your collection, and also how many pairs do you think you roughly have in your collection?
Well, favorite model straight off the bat, Jordan 11. It's like the shoe that got me into it. Definitely, Red 11s was like the first. This is all like going back to like I'm from a small ass town, no pop culture influence at all. But that being said, I was rocking Jordans in high school, and that being said, they were the wrong Jordans because I didn't know shit. I was all about, I was on fashion a little bit. Like I rocked True Religion jeans and I rocked Jordan. Honestly, I remember in high school, they're called Jordan 5 Forces. So they were literally Jordan 5s with an Air Force One bottom. That was like my first pair of J's. But I collected T-Mac. I had all the T-Macs in middle school and high school, and just more obscure players that I liked back in that time period. But Iversons and stuff like that. But not really Jordans until they started retroing them in college, living in Chicago. And like I remember the Concords came out one Christmas. I definitely didn't get them because that shit was way too hard to do when I was in college, so I couldn't camp out for a fucking week. And then this was in college. I got like an inheritance check from a great grandma, and I went and bought $300 Bread 11s and foam posits, and it was game time from there. Just flipping shoes and using my allowance. Like I said, I did sports in college. I didn't have a real job, so I would have an allowance. And, you know, instead of going grocery shopping, I would just get ramen noodles and go buy J's.
That's wild. Yeah, that's wild. And I respect that grind, man, because it's like, it's, you know, I know at least with my generation, it's a lot more different than that. And, like, for me, it was that same thing of, like, you know, it wasn't quite camping out because it was like I couldn't afford the shoes and I couldn't get to the malls or whatever because I was young. But it was like that, like squandering up any money I could and like, you know, trying to get as close as I could to the retail price and then getting to the retail price for some of them. And like, it was always cool. Like, and I always appreciated my mom for like trying to follow it with me. And like, it turned into like, as I was growing up, it literally turned into something that like my mom fucked with and like, you know, like would like support me doing, and like she wanted me to get the shoes that I wanted, you know, and like it was dope, you know, like that my mom supported that. And I feel you because I was in a town too where it was like kids gave a shit about like what they wore to play like town ball, but they didn't care about like the shoes on their feet, going to school and stuff like that. And you know, in high school, I went to a state like high school, so it was with like different kids from all over the state. So you had some people giving a shit about the shoes they wore and stuff like that then. But like,
yeah,
you
like
know,
I didn't know about shoes, but I liked what I liked. And like I said, I was obsessed with Lil Wayne. And he would wear the Creative, is it called Creative Recreation? Creative Revival? Creative Rec, I think, is a shoe brand that they sold at Zoomies, and they had the big tongue they weren't like quite skateboard shoes, they were like lifestyle shoes, but like, you know, Lil Wayne rocked them, I was copping them, and that's just like pre-artists being, I mean, Kanye had the Easy Ones out, and I can't name another artist at that time that I was aware of. Like, I just wasn't hip to super old stuff, like and then plus that shit was like weird offlines anyway. It wasn't like a Nike collab like when Jay-Z and 50 Cent had their sneakers. Like, that was some like weird offlines. Like, there was no, if you didn't live in a city, you weren't even gonna hear about that shit. So, you know, like I said, I was just looking at what Lil Wayne was rocking, and I was going to Zoomies and buying the shit.
Yeah, no, that's raw, bro. And like, what are some other things you do kind of when you have like the time to invest in yourself and, like, you know, do what you want?
Oh, honest, these dogs is a real full-time job right now. Training the dogs, it really is like everything I do in my free time. And I think, I was saying this earlier too. So like, I'm from an hour and a half north of the city. It's really like the Illinois-Wisconsin border, but I'm very fortunate that my parents live up there, and they got 10 acres, and they have a dog, and my brother, one of my brothers lives in there, right? And then another brother lives up there by them, and he's got dogs. So I'm fortunate enough that every time I got a bus and move travel wise, I go run my dogs up to my parents and leave them there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to move the way I'm moving, because, you know, boarding and all that. I wouldn't want to board my dogs like that, and B, that shit gets a little costly. So, you know, my free time here in the city, you know, I try to chill and kick it, and I'm hanging out a lot, and my home is really I'm a real homebody. I've lived in the same crib now for since like 2014. So like I said, it takes years to you know, accumulate all the shit that I have. And I got a big ass TV, I got all the game systems I need, I got sauna in my crib, I got workout equipment in my crib, I got a whole spare room for the closet, and this is my like happy place. Like, I spend a lot of time at the crib, because when I'm on the move, I'm so far gone. It's not like another job where you get to come home at night. Like, last night was the first night I slept in my bed in 5 days. It was so nice. And I haven't even been out of Illinois. It's like, I got to go run up to my parents to get the dogs. I had a dentist appointment and had to get new tires for my whip while I was out there and shit. So like I got back last night. I'm like, wow, I haven't slept in this bed since Thursday last week. This is horrible. My neck is killing me. So, you know, like I said, when I'm in the city, I try not to leave the crib unless it's for a paycheck, honestly.
Right. And in terms of like your dog, like bringing up the dog stuff, bringing them to the parents, like, dude, your boarding room fee or dog boarding fee, like annually, would be like a feature for like the artists you work with, bro. Like that shit would be expensive. And I
got the puppy in boot camp and shit right now, and yeah, that shit adds up.
Right. So it's like, yeah, I'm already knowing that's kind of a nice blessing. Plus the 10 acres, it's like, okay, with, you know, do more than stretch the legs, and that's good.
Right, because that's the thing, you know, I'm an active person in terms of like getting out of the house and going on walks, not so much, you know, going out, but like, you know, I'm active in that sense. But I do only have a 3-bedroom condo in the city. Like, luckily I'm on the, you know, this is by design. It's not lucky. It's all by design. I live on the first floor, so I walk outside and I'm outside. You know, if I was in a high rise in a 1-bedroom and it'd be impossible, but you know, I'm still pushing it. You know, I don't got a backyard. I got a coach house behind me, and I got 2 big dogs. So luckily, I'm an active ass person, and I got this 606 path right next to me, and I'm on it every day. But you know, life could be worse.
Yeah, for real, bro. I mean, I'm always appreciative of what I got every day, you know, it's like my situation, because it's like, yeah, you're right, it always can get, like, worse. And you were saying, like, when you were talking about the crib, like, you got a whole room for the closet, so, like, that shoe collection has got to be north of 100 pairs.
Yeah, I did a fat getting rid of, unloading. It was it didn't even have to do with COVID or anything. It was like just pre-COVID, total coincidence. And it's not even like, you know, that's all another conversation. COVID really didn't affect me, really, because that was so regional. Like, yeah, COVID affected Chicago, but guess what? It didn't affect Miami and Miami and Atlanta. So I just went there every weekend. But, yeah, like I was saying, I definitely was. I might be north of 100 pairs with these bins I have of running shoes and basketball shoes, but like, I'm honestly in the room right now. As far as like pairs on display in those like clear cases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, I'm north of 100 pairs.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, you gotta be like, you're not having a whole nother room and having like under 100 pairs. Like,
yeah,
nah. Like, like I've talked to people like when they like, you know, Tara, Copham and Rockham, I'm not sure, but like she was.
I'm familiar with Copham and Rockham, yeah.
Yeah, like, bro, she's got like 300 some pairs. You know what I mean? It's like she's got a whole wall in the crib that's like, you know, the shoe wall. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I totally did like obscure Jordans. Like I said, like we were saying earlier, everything comes back around. So, and this is me. I'm a product of the '90s. I was born in '91. OG colorways, keeping them, right? I got bread ones. I got cement, white cement, fire red threes. I go back bread, fire. If it's an OG colorway of a low number Jordan, keep it. All the random colors, I unloaded them. I unloaded probably like 20 pairs before quarantine started, just off the strength of like, man, why do I need 5 pairs of Jordan 4s when like I really only like the OG colorways, and then like some offshoots of favorite ones, like, or just ones that are just a little more rare, you know, keep the crazy heat, and then all the miscellaneous, it's like, don't need it.
What are some pairs you would be confident in owning yourself that like no one listening's probably got? Like, do you have some stuff like that in the room, like a couple real heaters?
Well, like stuff that I like to personally. This is a Yeezy thing, I would say. But it goes for like new models when Nike does some new models, which is rare. But like whenever a new shoe, like a brand new model comes out, I like to get that first colorway. And I, for the most part, have hung on to those first colorways. So like, for example, the first Adidas Yeezy, the 750, you know, the big high top boot with the zipper on the side. Mm-hmm. So I got the first ones
those are
ever.
Classics, yeah.
And I still got them because, like I said, I like to keep that first colorway. Got rid of the chocolate ones, got rid of those triple black ones, got rid of the glow-in-the-dark ones. So keep the OG ones. Same thing goes for, I literally just opened this. I got in my hand the Turtle Dove 350s. Like, got them. They're destroyed. I still have them. I bought them when they came out. And then... Pirate Blacks, Moon Rocks, and like Oxford Tans, they're called. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, sold them. Why have them at this point? Like, if you want to keep the shoe, keep your favorite colorway and ditch the rest. And I like to. It's just a personal thing, and I think even though that's, like I say, it's a personal thing, I think it kind of does coincide with the money. Usually, the first colorways, it's got that. Usually, it's initially a little more scarce in terms of numbers, so. I think that just coincides with the money, you know, like when you got that first colorway. Same thing goes for like the Virgil, like the 10, you know, I got a couple of those still, and I'll probably keep those. Like I got these Air Force Ones right here. I got these Blazers right here and shit like that. But as far as him dropping hella shit all the time, I don't need it. I already got the OG ones. Like I don't need to get these the black versions of the Air Force Ones and shit like that. I'm straight. Like, otherwise you're just buying fucking. If that's your thing and you can make money out of it, do it. But like, man, you know how many shoes I would have if I still felt like I needed to? And at a point, there was a certain time in my life where I did feel like I needed to, like back to the OG days. Like I got a big chunk of my Instagram following from winning outfit grids. You know what outfit grid is?
I don't, honestly.
No, you got your phone in your hand?
I got a computer. I can look it up on.
Whatever. I'll just explain it. It's called Outfit Grid. It's probably, I don't know if they got 1 million followers, but it's people squaring out, folding up a shirt, the jacket, the shoes, laying it on the ground, and the best outfit of every day wins. And I won that a few times, and you know it was probably a quick 10,000 followers at the time when I thought that was important in life, and it makes you feel like, oh, I can't repeat shoes, I can't repeat shirts, I can't repeat things. And it's like I was buying hella shoes, and I was like, just to post a picture, which was sweet. You know, you get a hit of dopamine, and that's awesome for a minute, and then you gotta fucking look at your wallet and be like, wow, I mean, I didn't really need those shoes, and I spent this money. Now I gotta take a little $40 loss to sell them on Facebook. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, man, it's crazy though, because like shoes they've gone such a long way from like even just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, bro, I remember when people would pop out in like basketball shoes, like they'd wear like LeBron 10s, like Kobe,
bro, like 8s. Real basketball shoes,
yes, bro. Like you know, like athletic shoes.
I got them all, bro.
Yeah. Oh man,
I got them all, bro.
It's such a good era of sneakers, bro. And like Nike basketball shit was like flying, bro. Like,
right.
Oh man, they'll never be able to like recreate that.
Yeah, I don't know what. I was just had this conversation too. I mean, I guess I do know what that is. You know, these athletes had to make a decision. And it's like look cool or perform great, and perform great is the priority for them. You know, so I feel like every LeBron, I'll say this on record. I bet you never see another LeBron that's not flying it. Why? Because he obviously loves the Flyknit. It's obviously the best technology. It's obviously, plain and simple, the best technology for his foot, you know? So I bet you'll never see him stray from that ever again. You'll never get, you know, the crazy LeBron 11s that were like foam positive looking. You're never going to get, you know, a solid fake leather plastic shoe again. You're gonna because it's not conducive to their level of performance. So you know I don't think you're gonna see a lot of variations in his shoes ever again. They all really look like basketball shoes. No more of that colorways that people can wear with jeans, you know.
Right. No, for real, bro. A question I definitely had for you, and it's my last question. What would you kind of say as or kind of just like for some advice almost to like photographers that like follow you and listen and really pay attention to your work? What would you kind of say to those people as like kind of a pillar of advice?
Pillar of advice to just people trying to start out and do what I do. Well, I mean, it doesn't get better than the whole do your job thing, like focus on your priorities and make sure that shit happens first. Like, even when it comes to networking, right? Like, there's a time and place for networking. When you're in I apologize if I'm ever standoffish to people because I'm in my priority mode. I'm a nice person. I'm a genuine guy. I love to talk to anyone and everyone, but, when we're in the pit in front of Gucci Mane and he can literally fucking see us, I'm not about to, swap Instagrams and follow you because, it's go time right now. Like, that's not the time and place for that kind of shit. So, just stay on task, do your job, but, don't, you never know it's all about who you know. So it really, I love connecting with people. I love getting to, anything I can do for someone. If it doesn't affect me, why wouldn't I do it? So, I feel like you never know who's going to be like that. Like, I would love to get everyone a photo pass. There ain't no skin off my back to get anyone a photo pass to come to a show. But like, if I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm not about to like break my back to like go do it. And it might be something just as hard of like I fucking honestly can't leave the whip and go to the front of house right now to get you a pass. I don't have time. I'm sorry. That's what it is. But sometimes it's easy. So it's really, you can't take offense to shit because, you know, really, it's, you know, you never know what it takes to get something done. And if it's something that's going to affect me, sorry, I can't make it happen because I don't even know you that well. But if it's easy and it's no skin off my back, consider it done.
Yeah. And one last quick question too that I thought of while you were talking is some goals that you have for yourself for the rest of the year. It's like currently like end of September-ish. This will be out on Monday, by the way, around your birthday.
Oh yeah.
So little gift from us, the interview.
Oh yeah. Sunday's my birthday, so.
What day is it? Sunday?
Yep.
Fire. Yeah, it'll drop Monday, so it'll be like next day. But what are some things that you're working on for yourself, just like goals and stuff like that, kind of for the remaining of the year?
Man, I've been taking it so day by day lately. I feel like that's not even something I've really thought of for myself lately. But you know, I've always had the goal to, you know, merchandise myself more and better and create multiple streams of revenue through this situation. I want to host my own gallery eventually here. I want to get some more album artworks done. I want to get more magazine covers done. These are just like goals with no time stamp on them right now, but I know I'm really focused on bettering myself right now. I've had, you know, my bouts with happiness and my priorities in life and, you know, getting them all straightened out and removing certain people from my life to better my own life. And I'm really just focused on my sanity, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm excited for, you want to talk about goals for this year?
Yeah.
My goal for this year has nothing to do with photography. My goal is to learn how to do a 360 and land on a grind rail on my skis. I got my 1 month booked out for, I got a lease out in Breckenridge. I'm staying through the month of January. I got my season passes for the whole U.S., both major passes. And like, that is my form of meditation, is getting on skis, bro. So I love skiing, and I'm about to go hardcore this winter.
Yeah, good for you. Where is this place? I'm sorry, I know I'm an East Coast guy, but I don't ski.
No, yeah, you're good. I'm Breckenridge. I'm staying out in Frisco. If anyone hears this and they're local to Frisco or stays out in Copper or Breckenridge, like, I got an Icon pass, I got an Epic pass. I'm gonna be on the move this winter. I got a 1 month lease. I'm staying out there, taking a trip to Big Sky for a week in February. I got friends that I'm going to be crashing on couches all through March. I'm probably going to drive my car out to Colorado for, last year I did 25 days of skiing. And this year I'm trying to double that. So
good, man. Yeah, good for you. I mean, that's a good kind of ending point too. Before we do this outro, is like always trying to have that focus on yourself. You know, no matter what level, no matter what job, you gotta have it. So, you know, I'm pretty sure mostly everyone here is going to be following you already. But you know, tell everyone where they can follow you, or they can, you know, see your work. Shout out what you need to shout out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, MultiMarz, MultiMarz, and that's the Instagram handle, and it all branches from that, honestly. The link is in the bio for my website. I should probably update that sooner than later, but it's got a little portfolio on there and stuff like that, and ways to get a hold of me, email addresses. Everything else is just, you know, I only got Twitter because I retweet my Instagrams. I don't even got Facebook. All I do is consume shit on TikTok. I don't post, all that kind of stuff. So I really if I'm doing it, it's going to be on the gram. So follow me there.
Would you, since you just brought up TikTok, you think you would ever get on TikTok or not?
I posted like 3 videos. You can't, I mean, it's a whole beast you really got to invest in creating that content when it comes to making the slideshows. And I see like I see a lot of photographers doing like behind the scenes. I think that's cool as hell. I don't got time for it personally. So I just haven't dove in. I thought there's so many other lanes and I want to open up more lanes. If you go to my TikTok, I have 3 videos posted and it's me showing off sneakers in my collection. I was like, I haven't seen anyone do this. I'm going to see if this works. But it didn't work and hasn't worked. So I just consume videos on there. I think it's the best. I think it's the best app. I think it's the best social media for consumption. Like it does its job of hooking you in and showing you exactly what you want. And unfortunately, like I said, I plugged my IG and I said that's where I saw it. And I think Instagram fucking sucks right now. I think I think Facebook ruined it. I think I think there's no more organic growth. Maybe if you get posted by someone with millions of followers and shouts you out on a regular basis, but organic growth is dead. It's all pay to play. Facebook did that. It's all advertisements. So my advice to anyone is try to find out what's next, because that's how you blow up, is what's next, not what's now.
Hell yeah. Well, if there's nothing else that you got, I got nothing else. So this was another episode of the Culture Captures Spotlight Podcast. Tune in again next week for another episode.